Pipefish. The pipefish is a slender, unusual group of marine fish closely related to seahorses. They are found in coastal waters around the world, including regions such as Indo-Pacific and the Atlantic Ocean. Pipefish are named for their long, tube-like bodies and narrow snouts, which give them a pipe-like appearance. Pipefish have elongated, rigid bodies covered in bony rings instead of typical fish scales. Their bodies can be straight or slightly curved depending on the species. They range in size from a few centimeters to over 60 centimeters long. Their small mouths are located at the end of their snouts, allowing them to suck up tiny prey with surprising speed. These fish are masters of camouflage. Many species resemble seagrass, seaweed, or coral, blending perfectly into their surroundings to avoid predators. They often swim slowly or drift with ocean currents, mimicking the gentle movement of plants in the water. Pipefish primarily feed on small crustaceans and tiny fish. Using their long snouts, they create a rapid suction to capture prey. Despite their delicate appearance, they are effective hunters in their environment. One of the most fascinating features of pipefish is their reproduction. Like their relatives, the seahorses, male pipefish often carry the eggs. Depending on the species, females deposit eggs onto the male's body or into a specialized brood pouch. The male then fertilizes and protects the eggs until they hatch, an unusual role reversal in the animal kingdom. Pipefish typically inhabit shallow waters, such as seagrass beds, coral reefs, and estuaries. These habitats provide both food and protection. However, habitat destruction and pollution pose threats to some species. With their unique body shape, excellent camouflage, and rare reproductive behavior, pipefish are a fascinating example of adaptation in marine life. Demoiselle Crane. It is found across parts of Europe and Asia, breeding in regions such as Mongolia and Russia, and migrating to warmer areas like India and Africa during the winter. Known for its graceful appearance and remarkable endurance, this bird has fascinated people for centuries. Demoiselle cranes are relatively small compared to other cranes, standing about 85 to 100 centimeters tall with a wingspan of up to 180 centimeters. They have slender bodies, long necks, and long legs. Their plumage is mostly bluish-gray, with distinctive black feathers on the neck and chest that form a flowing mane. They also have striking white ear tufts that extend behind their eyes, adding to their elegant look. These cranes prefer open habitats such as grasslands, steppes, and semi-deserts. They are omnivorous, feeding on seeds, grains, insects, and small animals. During migration in winter, they often gather in large flocks, sometimes numbering in the thousands, especially in agricultural areas where food is abundant. One of the most impressive features of the Demoiselle crane is its migration. Some populations fly over the Himalayas, reaching altitudes of over 5,000 meters. This journey requires incredible stamina and adaptation to low oxygen levels, making them one of the highest flying birds in the world. Demoiselle cranes are monogamous and form strong pair bonds. Their courtship displays include dancing, jumping, and calling. They usually lay 2 eggs on the ground, and both parents share incubation duties and care for the chicks. Although currently not considered endangered, Demoiselle cranes face threats from habitat loss and human disturbance. Their beauty, resilience, and extraordinary migrations make them one of the most captivating birds in the natural world. Marsupial frog. The marsupial frog found in Central and South America, particularly in countries like Ecuador, Peru, and Colombia. These frogs are best known for their unusual reproductive strategy, in which females carry their eggs in a pouch on their backs, similar to how kangaroos carry their young, giving them the name marsupial. Marsupial frogs are generally small to medium-sized, with body lengths ranging from a few centimeters to about 10 centimeters, depending on the species. They often have rough or textured skin that helps them blend into their forest surroundings. Their coloration varies, including shades of brown, green, and gray, which provide excellent camouflage among leaves and tree bark. The most remarkable feature of these frogs is their brood pouch. After mating, the female places fertilized eggs into a specialized pouch on her back. In some species, the eggs develop into tadpoles inside the pouch and are later released into water. In others, the young complete their entire development within the pouch and emerge as tiny froglets, skipping the free-swimming tadpole stage altogether. This adaptation helps protect the offspring from predators and environmental dangers. Marsupial frogs are mostly arboreal, meaning they live in trees, especially in humid cloud forests and rainforests. They are typically nocturnal and feed on insects and other small invertebrates. Their sticky tongues allow them to catch prey efficiently. These frogs play an important role in their ecosystems by helping control insect populations. However, like many amphibians, they face threats from habitat destruction, climate change, and diseases such as chytridiomycosis. With their unique method of caring for their young and their adaptation to life in the treetops, marsupial frogs are a remarkable example of evolutionary innovation in the animal kingdom. Plethodontid salamander. The Plethodontid salamander, also known as lungless salamanders, is a diverse and fascinating group of amphibians found mainly in the Americas, with a few species in southern Europe. They are especially abundant in regions like Appalachian Mountains, which is considered a global hotspot for their diversity. What makes Plethodontid salamanders truly unique is that they lack lungs. Instead, they breathe entirely through their skin and the lining of their mouths, a process known as cutaneous respiration. Because of this, they must live in moist environments, such as forests, under logs, rocks, or near streams, where their skin can remain damp enough for efficient oxygen exchange. These salamanders vary greatly in size, ranging from just a few centimeters to over 20 centimeters long. They often have slender bodies, long tails, and well-developed limbs. Many species display subtle but beautiful coloration, including browns, reds, oranges, and patterns that help them blend into leaf litter and forest floors. Plethodontid salamanders are primarily carnivorous, feeding on small invertebrates like insects, mites, and worms. They use a specialized projectile tongue to capture prey with remarkable speed and accuracy. This feeding mechanism is one of the fastest movements relative to body size in the animal kingdom. Another interesting feature is their reproduction. Many species do not have an aquatic larval stage. Instead, eggs are laid on land in moist locations, and the young hatch as miniature versions of adults. This direct development allows them to live entirely on land, unlike many other amphibians. These salamanders are important indicators of environmental health because they are sensitive to changes in moisture, temperature, and pollution. However, they face threats from habitat destruction, climate change, and diseases like chytridiomycosis. Bullet ant. The bullet ant is one of the most famous and formidable insects in the world, found in the rainforests of Central and South America, including countries like Brazil and Costa Rica. It is best known for having one of the most painful stings of any insect, often described as feeling like being shot, hence the name bullet ant. Bullet ants are relatively large compared to other ants, measuring about 18 to 30 millimeters in length. They have dark, reddish-brown bodies, strong mandibles, and a powerful stinger. Despite their intimidating reputation, they are not aggressive unless provoked, but will fiercely defend their nests if threatened. The sting of the bullet ant ranks at the top of the Schmidt Sting Pain Index, a system developed by entomologist Justin O. Schmidt. Victims often experience intense, burning pain that can last for up to 24 hours, sometimes accompanied by sweating, shaking, and temporary paralysis. Bullet ants live in colonies at the base of trees in humid rainforests. They are primarily foragers, feeding on nectar, small insects, and other organic materials. Workers travel along forest paths and tree trunks in search of food, using chemical signals to communicate with other members of the colony. Interestingly, bullet ants play a role in certain indigenous cultures. For example, some groups use them in initiation rituals, where participants must endure multiple stings as a test of strength and endurance. Despite their fearsome sting, bullet ants are an important part of their ecosystem, helping to control insect populations and contribute to nutrient cycling. Their powerful defense mechanisms and complex social behavior make them one of the most fascinating and memorable insects in the natural world. Damselfly. The damselfly found near freshwater habitats around the world. They can be seen in regions such as Japan, United States, and Australia, where they inhabit ponds, lakes, rivers, and wetlands. Known for their slender bodies and shimmering wings, damselflies are a common sight in warm, sunny environments. Damselflies are typically smaller and more delicate than dragonflies, with long, thin abdomens and narrow wings. When at rest, they usually fold their wings together over their backs, unlike dragonflies, which hold their wings open. Their bodies often display bright metallic colors such as blue, green, or red, making them especially attractive. These insects undergo a life cycle known as incomplete metamorphosis, consisting of 3 stages: egg, nymph, and adult. The nymphs live underwater and are active predators, feeding on small aquatic organisms like mosquito larvae and tiny fish. They use a specialized extendable mouthpart to capture prey quickly. After several molts, the nymph climbs out of the water and transforms into an adult. Adult damselflies are also carnivorous, feeding on small flying insects such as mosquitoes and flies. They are agile flyers, though generally weaker and slower than dragonflies. Their excellent vision helps them detect and catch prey in midair. Damselflies play an important ecological role by controlling insect populations and serving as food for birds, fish, and amphibians. However, they are sensitive to pollution and habitat changes, making them useful indicators of environmental health. With their elegant flight, vivid colors, and complex life cycle, damselflies are a beautiful and important part of freshwater ecosystems worldwide. Horned char. a small and unusual species of shark found along the Pacific coast of North America, especially near California and Mexico. The horned shark gets its name from the small, horn-like spines located in front of each of its dorsal fins. These spines are sharp and provide protection against predators. This species is relatively small compared to many other sharks, typically growing to about 1 meter in length. It has a stout body, a blunt head, and strong jaws, giving it a somewhat rugged appearance. Horned sharks are bottom dwellers, usually found resting on rocky reefs, sandy flats, or kelp forests at depths of up to 150 meters. They are mostly nocturnal, becoming active at night to hunt for food. Their diet mainly consists of hard-shelled prey, such as sea urchins, crabs, mollusks, and small fish. Their powerful jaws and flat teeth are specially adapted for crushing these tough shells. Unlike fast-swimming sharks, horned sharks move slowly and often use their pectoral fins to walk along the ocean floor. They are generally solitary and tend to stay within a limited home range. Reproduction in horned sharks is also unique. Females lay spiral-shaped egg cases, which they wedge into crevices among rocks for protection. The embryos develop inside these cases for several months before hatching. Although not considered dangerous to humans, horned sharks are sometimes caught accidentally in fisheries. Their populations are relatively stable, but they can be affected by habitat degradation. With their distinctive horns, slow movements, and specialized feeding habits, horned sharks are a fascinating example of adaptation among bottom-dwelling marine animals. That's all for today. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.